Hello, friends. We're back with episode 3 of our mini series about the holiday load.
We're doing it.
Let's do this. So, I guess I didn't do our intro, but
I'm Taylor.
I'm Brittany.
We're so pulled together.
I know. But we are excited to be here and to talk about the holidays.
We like the holidays. This week we are talking about mental load in relationships and figuring out who's actually running Christmas. The Grinch. I've watched a lot of Grinch lately.
I am laughing about this though, because this has literally been a big conversation between James and then you and I have talked about this too. So it'll be fun to see where this episode kind of goes.
I run Christmas.
Yeah, and this is the first
That's really
time.
the question in my relationship.
Well, I know, and that's what's so funny. Because for me, I've never had to fight to run Christmas, because it's or the holidays, or
But how was that even elected? And I think this is the interesting thing is like some of the things that happen, in relationships, especially once you have kids, it's like, how is this?
how's it the
When I
mom
birthed the
thing?
babies, my
Yeah,
husband just looked at me. He's like, "What do we do?" I'm like, "Okay, we have the same, we have the same manual. I don't like what
yeah.
I didn't
We
get
have
one
the
when she
same
popped out."
experience.
There's so many times where my master like me, she's like, "What do we do?" I'm like, "Oh, why is it? Why am I the answer?"
Yeah, what?
And I feel like that's a lot of things, but you know what? I do it to him too. He's like all the finance stuff and all the stock stuff and all the some of the deeper things that I don't want to think about. That's him. So who elects it and why is a very fascinating
It's super odd.
thing to
Yeah,
look at.
and
Yeah.
and it's weird for me too now, because this is what we want, right? As a relationship for people who are balanced on things and want to
Yeah.
both be part of it and
Yeah.
all this. And I actually don't know how to work in that because I'm used to just being in charge.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
isn't that
Yeah.
funny? It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, because I come from a situation where we are balanced, but we also own our zones. So we don't have
Yeah.
to, but I don't know how you guys are actually verbally having those conversations. I actually don't know how we got elected into our roles. We just got and
I
that's
think
where I'm
it's just
like,
a natural thing. It's kind of just a societal thing, at least in American culture, to be
some of it is very societal.
I think that's what it is. Oh,
Yeah.
well, mommy will take care of the decorations, and then ours is unique because it was he was a divorced single dad for how many years, and he just
Yeah.
got used to well, I have to do
Running
it, otherwise no one's
poolside.
gonna do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
So then
now we're
he
both here, where we're
has
both
both
used to doing it.
skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you have to start dividing again, which makes a lot of sense where you're coming from. And mine was like, well, we went into it like, what's your strengths? What's my strengths? What's kind of the elected
Yeah.
role that you have? And do you agree with it or not? So it's interesting because there is lots of studies on this too and stuff, but women are usually the default to being certain mental load carriers, like the
Mhm.
children's stuff, um, like appointments and regulation skills and modeling all these things. Usually it's the motherly role or the nurturer's role that
Yeah.
is taking those things on. And it's yeah, but I don't. Just interesting, isn't it?
Then the holidays continue to be in that. I love what you had on these notes here of why do women default to being the holiday CEO?
Hmm.
Why do we get up in the C-suite? How does that happen?
Yeah, I think this would have because I just kind of taken it on and I love it. I love decorating. I love being the one that's like, hey, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. But it's exhausting, and that's where it's interesting. Yeah, it's making me reflect a lot in this moment of how did I get in this position?
Well, and what's funny is I literally fought to put myself in that position because
But
James
we
was
love it because we were talking
because we
about
love
that too.
doing it. Yeah.
Because it's our love language. I
Yeah.
love decorating my children's house or my children's rooms, or the house, or I love decorating for Christmas, or knowing that we're gonna do this tradition. I for Halloween I had wrapped a different book every day for countdown to Halloween
So
because I think
cute.
Halloween is so cute. So 13 days of books for 13 days of Halloween till then. And my husband was like, thanks so much for thinking of that and doing it. And it brings me so much joy, not only when my kids are benefiting from it, but then my partner is also like, oh my goodness, that was such a cute idea. And so good. It's
Yeah.
so much validation to me. But why? like, why? Because he could care less if I was just like, hey, good job. He'd be like, okay, whatever. Is it a
Yeah.
part of our social?
I don't I
the
don't
part
know what it is. Like, because
Yep,
we've really been talking about this too in our house because trying to redefine like
the boundaries on
in
lines.
boundaries and involvement and like all of this. Because part of me is like, yeah, you don't have to do that anymore. You have a wife now. Like, I'll just take care of it. But then I'm like, why am I feeling this need to like just take care of it at the same time? Like,
Yeah,
he wants to do it, but then I'm like, but I actually really love doing it. Like, it's
yeah.
yeah. Like, I don't know if some of it's cultural,
Perfectionism or
religious, perfectionism, societal
Mhm.
expectations of like I can do this better than he can. I'm on
Yeah.
Instagram more, therefore I must be the I must have more knowledge about this. I don't
Well, it
know.
was I keep thinking of this example of when we moved into this house, I still hadn't decorated the bathroom. I had a few little, like in our bedroom, we have, like, this weird bathroom where it needed something on this, like, shelf. Then I was gonna do it, and all of a sudden, I look in there one day, and I was like, "Batson, you did so good. It looks so cute. You put, like, these pictures and this plant and,
Cute.
like, looks super cute." And I was just like, "Good job, honey." He's like, "Well, yeah, I can decorate. I have a good eye, but I just let you do it because you like it." And I was like, "That was humbling." "Okay." He's like, "I mean, you do a great job on the house, but, like, I don't need you to do it. I can do it." And I'm like, "Clearly you
It
can. You
is
did a great job."
super humbling when that happens. Like,
Yeah, it was
and
also like, "Yeah,
being
you're right. I
yeah.
can be replaced with this, but don't
Yeah.
replace
And
me."
well, and I get super offended all the time too, because he'll, like James will be like, well, I actually don't need you to do this. I'm like, you don't need me? Like, what do you mean you
Yeah,
don't need me? But
yeah,
it's like at the same time, like, I know he doesn't need me. He wants me. And like for Christmas, it's
which
the
is
same thing.
good.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
he
that's a
doesn't need
healthy
you.
thing. Like you're choosing to be together because you don't need each other, but like we're
Yeah.
going down a rabbit hole here on this one. But
No,
like,
but I think it's interesting 'cause it's the theme of today of, like, who carries the mental load and why did you get elected in this spot? I think it's because at times, like, when you fulfill a role, what are you seeking? What are you doing in that role, and why did you want to fulfill that role? There's probably something there.
yeah, true. And like, what validation are you seeking? How's it filling your
Mhm,
need for love language?
mhm. Is it
Why is
making
he
you feel
doing this?
connected? Is it making you and I think that can help when you look at this load that you're taking on. Like, it did help me when he said that, and I'm like, "You're right, I elect to do this because I do like our house in a certain way, and I do like being in control of it." Like, so
Mhm.
yes, it's a pain in the butt for me to remember all these things, but like taking my kids to the doctor. I need to do that. I want to do that. That's a personal thing for me. It's not like he won't. It's not that he can't. It's that I need it. And once I like started like separating those two, it can help, I think, a little bit.
I
Being
think
like,
so.
I elected for this load, so I can take it.
Yeah,
You can
and
also
even,
learn
like
what you can delegate too.
totally. Yeah, like, what can you delegate? What can you feel comfortable with? But and I think this, like, interesting thing, right? Like, where we were like, "Okay, first Christmas together, how's this gonna look?" And he's like, "Well, I wanna decorate." And I'm like, "No, I wanna decorate. Like, that's mine." And I really had to come up with why. Like,
Yeah.
why and so I think when I was and you and I had talked about this afterwards, and I was like, "It's important to me because that's how I'm gonna feel connected to our home. That's how I'm going to feel connected with the kids because I'm creating some magic, and, like, it's my love language," which you had summed that up well. I hadn't thought of it quite that way, right? Like,
Oh,
it's just
yeah,
a
totally.
service-based thing, as well as I was like, it's part of who I am. Like, that's part of
Mhm.
my, like one of my core beliefs or not core beliefs, core values is making sure things look beautiful, right? Like, I have a background in design. I went to school for advertising. Like, this is who I've always been. Like, that's just
But I
part of
think it's because
Brittany.
it's not just that you like things beautiful, it's what creates peace for people. It's what
Yeah.
creates
Mm.
peace and an ability to, like, come together. Like, I love decorating my kids' rooms because I want them to feel safe and like they have their own spot. And like I keep making them these little forts in their
They
room
love
around their
it.
beds and stuff. And it's been one of the highlights of moving in this new home is like I'm creating all of these special little hidey holes for my kids, but because our mom did that for us. And I remember just how magical and safe my home felt to me. Not because like it was just because my mom made it feel that way. Like the way she decorated it, or our mom, but like, the way she
Yeah.
decorated it, the way she like did things, it made it feel like not only is this a house, it's a home. It's a safe spot for me. And I think it's the same thing when it comes to the holidays is this is a safe spot that then creates the magic. And this is the environment that creates the magic. And when you're the person that has a skill set to do that, like I definitely have the skill set, the capabilities, and kind of just first off, I have a platform. Like my job is more flexible than my husband's job,
Mhm.
meaning I have more time to do it, but also the desire to do it. And also like I think of a few different things than he does because that's how my brain works and I can multitask so I can do it quicker and I can do it like wider. And, just some of these things made me the elected one now that I'm thinking about it, instead of him being the elected one.
Yeah. And I think it's good to go back and be like, if there's a task that you're doing that you're really like, I actually resent doing this, like go talk to your partner
Oh,
about it
yeah. If
and
there's
be like,
resentment, then let's talk about it.
let's talk about it. Yeah, like in this case, you and I were excited to decorate for holidays, right? Like we're actually like it's something we look
Yeah.
forward to. Not
I
everybody's like
resent it if I have to grab the boxes down. Okay. That's where I resent.
that.
And he
And
knows
I
that.
don't mind doing that, but like
I hate it. Go grab me the boxes.
but it's like I have friends that hate decorating. Like it's just not one of their things. It stresses them out. And so it's one of those where it's like you've got to find work with your partner to find what works best for you, right? Or if
Mhm.
you're single right now, like I know James, like we'd kind of laugh, like we brought Christmas stuff in yesterday, I think it was, and I had like, I don't know, 20 different boxes, assortment
Containers.
of
Yeah.
Christmas things, whatever, right? And he's got like 2. And so it was like, okay, like, oh, he
Different.
was like, and for him, it was Christmas is really important to me. I want to decorate just because I want Christmas in my home and I want my kids to have the memories, but I don't actually care about like making it beautiful, right? Like where you and
Yeah.
I are more like, I want to make it beautiful. I want the sparkle. I want the glam, blah, 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 right? Like,
Yeah.
and
But
so for
that's a
him, it
personal
was
thing.
I think you've got to work with your partner to be like, here's what is our importance? Like, what is our core? Like, this is what we want, right? Like, and then
Mhm.
you have to work together to be like, okay, like, this is important to you. This is important to me. Where can we meet in the middle? Like,
Yeah.
and for James and I, we had kind of had to meet in the middle where he's like, I just want to help decorate the Christmas tree. And I was like,
Great.
great. Let's do that.
Great.
He's like, for me, that's my favorite thing of decorating for Christmas is decorating the Christmas tree with some music on.
Great.
Love
Great.
it. That's
That's
great.
cute.
And so
Yeah.
I think that was because at first we were just really butting heads because he's like, I want everybody to be involved. It needs to stay simple. I want the kids to feel like they have a say. And I'm like, nope, I want it to look like a Pottery Barn catalog. Like I
Yep.
have all these bazillion boxes. And so I think it's just breaking it down and being like delegating it to an extent and be like, don't
Mhm.
feel forced into something like because my natural avoidant tendencies were to be like, fine, we will give up on all my Christmas. I'm just going to let you and your kids take care of it. Right. Like, cause I'm like, I don't want conflict. That's where I naturally go. But
Yeah.
that's not healthy either. So it's like
No.
rewind and work through it with your partner. And
Yeah.
it can happen. Like, it's
Yeah.
okay. Mhm.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is looking at like what can you delegate? What tasks do you like, don't like? And then even on the tasks I like, I still need Madsen's help. Like it's still just it just, you have to ask for the help at times because it's overwhelming. And that's the hard
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, or ask them if they wanna be involved, right? Like, where James is like, "I really want to help with the Christmas tree. I
Mhm.
don't mind doing it. Like, I'm happy to go make sure my bulbs are perfectly placed." But, like, just that
Yeah.
reminder of it doesn't have to be perfect and, like, let them help if they want to.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's funny? As I just saw this, like how to redistribute the workload without a fight. And
Okay.
we have lights on our house. And Madsen was out of town for work, and it was right before Halloween, and we had a windstorm, and the flag ripped off some of the lights. And I was so irritated to the point where I was going to go out in a rainstorm on a ladder and go fix them myself because he was gone. And I was like, okay, that's dumb. It's 9 o'clock at night. I shouldn't do that. So I didn't do that, luckily. But I asked him for 5 days, like, can you please fix the light? Please fix the lights. And he's like, yeah. And finally I was like, Matson, I am going to tell you right now. And I identified what the emotion was and why I needed it. And he didn't realize what it was representing inside of me, right? It wasn't
Yes.
like that it was just irritating. I was like, this is representing, like, it's ruining a home that I worked so hard to make feel like a safe, beautiful environment that's valuable to me because that's what my children are living in. And if my children are living in it and you're living in it, and I value my family, I want them to have this home. And having this hang down like this, it just represents to me everything that I'm not as a person, as a family, as a mother. And it's irritating me on so many levels. It's making me mad. And now I'm getting mad at you for not caring about my feelings and not fixing it. 2 minutes later, he was outside putting them back on
Well, and I think that's such a good example. Like, we can both think about even recent conversations, right, with both of
yeah,
our partners. And, like,
yeah,
as soon as we're able to say, like, this is why I'm feeling this, instead of just like
yes,
getting upset and being like,
yeah.
no,
Do
I'm
it,
doing
do it,
this,
do it, or
or
no,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
or I'm taking this over, this I'm doing all the Christmas, right? Because I handled that
Yeah.
immaturely at first, right? And then it
Yeah.
just puts up more walls, right?
Yeah.
And if you had
Yeah.
gone to Matt's and been like, "Fix it now, I need it fixed," that's an
I did.
immature response. So,
I
like
did.
and so see, we both like the initial responses sometimes start out as
Yeah.
like, okay, we can do better. But then when we go and we like
Mhm.
state our needs and like, hey, this is actually what this is bringing out in me. And then they're really good about like, I can see that this actually matters to you. And
Yeah.
I think if we can stop and like for anybody, if they're fighting over whatever it might be, like making the green jello grandma used to make and you hate it, but like talk
Yeah.
about the core reason why, like because it brings back these memories and it's important to me because I remember my
Yeah.
grandma and she was the closest woman in my life or whatever. Like I think that's a good reminder for all of us.
I think the mental workload, the biggest problem with it is that we don't identify the emotion that's making us present the way we're presenting. Usually the
Mhm.
frustrations we're having, usually the reservations we're having are all at a result of I have an unmet emotion that I'm trying to present and I'm presenting it poorly. And
Yeah,
that's the hard part is you're presenting it poorly. So
yeah,
the better that you can identify what you're feeling first and then what you need, like why and what you need, the more you can have your partner meet your needs and not be resentful and not actually feel like um I don't actually feel like a lot of the mental load of the holidays is on me because I have a partner who will like see a need and meet it, right? But if
mhm,
I do, then when I say something like, hey, this is really frustrating me or whatever, and this is why, he steps up and then it goes away. So a lot
yeah,
of this can be solved with simply that communicating to people.
yeah, and it's interesting now for me because 'cause I've been in 2 very different marriages, right? And the
Hmm.
first one was very much like, I just did everything, if Brittany didn't do it, it just never happened, and the
Yeah.
second one is like, I'm literally fighting him to like, "I'm decorating for Christmas, back off," right? Like, so
Hmm.
that it's a good practice to be like, why are we feeling this way? Right. And so I remember I
Hmm.
went into a therapy session, I think a week ago or something. And she's like, a lot of times she's like, the conflict stems from like one emotion that's usually flaring up, whether it's like
Yeah.
grief or
Yep.
sadness or
Yep.
jealousy or control or like,
Or
so
protection or, like,
whatever, or like you've been abandoned before. And so this is your response to abandonment. So she was like, figure out what it is that you're feeling in that moment. And I think that was a really good
mm,
reminder to be like, oh, yeah. Like, I'm responding this way because I had felt abandoned before, or I am responding this way because I am sad that I didn't get to give my kids these traditions before, or whatever it might be.
yeah.
But like, or if it's like, if you're really frustrated because you think your husband's over the top and, like figure out why you're feeling that way to stop,
Yep.
pause, and think about like, okay, this is actually what it means.
Well,
Like,
it's even funny, like, Matson and I go back and forth every year about this silliness. He likes Christmas after decorations
oh, yeah.
after Thanksgiving. He has compromised and said before we leave for Thanksgiving. So, like, the weekend before. And I always push back. We always fight about it. Like, not fight, but like bicker
But
back
still,
and
yeah.
forth. And I got the tree yesterday, right? My Christmas tree. And I
Costco.
set it up to
Mhm.
see Costco. Hello, Costco. And
Mhm.
to see how it would look in that corner. And Matson comes down and he looks at me. He's like, "So we putting it away?" I was like, "No, because blah blah blah." And he looked at me. I was like, "Please, it's important." And like it clicked for him right then where I feel important when he recognizes my needs. When he dismisses them, then I feel like I'm not important to him. He doesn't value me. And he knows that because we had conversations, right? So when I said it's important, he knew like it wasn't about the tree. It was about him seeing me and my needs and compromising on this one area because I've compromised on not setting up our whole
Yeah.
house. He's like, okay. But it was interesting because we've had this pattern of communication where he could see, like, I have named this before. This is important. And when I have him stop and I say, this is important, he'll be like, okay. But like, it's a bigger emotion than the tree. It's a bigger emotion than whatever is going on. And I
Yeah.
think if you can get to that point, you're going to notice a lot of these resentments and issues and fights that you're having go down a ton.
Yeah. And I think it's just like getting it out there. And I think it's just a good practice too to be like,
Hmm.
if you can practice naming what you're actually feeling instead of just like what you're upset about, right? But like
Yeah.
saying, I'm upset about this because
Yeah.
like that goes so much farther. And I think as you get into the practice of this, especially around the holidays, like it will help you and your partner to feel less overwhelmed, less stress, less resentment. Like,
Yeah.
even though it sucks kind of in the moment sometimes. Like,
Yeah. I think another thing too, though, because I was going through our list of stuff and sleep deprivation stands out. And I
mm,
was
yeah.
like, oh, that was me with Ray. And I remember at one point being like, I was building resentment because Ray would not take my husband.
That's
My daughter
right.
does not like math. Did not. She loves Matson now, but like she's a mama's girl for sure.
When she was
And
teeny, she wouldn't go to anybody.
no, for the
Yeah.
first 6 months, it was just me
Yeah.
and my mom. Thank goodness we have mom.
Yeah.
It's like take her
Well, she
for a
didn't
minute.
go to Auntie. And like Banks, we tricked Banks for months thinking I was mommy.
Months. No, yeah,
Like,
literally,
I will
Ray
never
would just
forget the
take
day
me.
where he like looked at me like he was like, "You're not mom." Like it
Oh,
was
he
like
was
the ultimate
ticked.
betrayal, but it had been months.
I
Like,
know. That was so funny. That was so funny. Yeah, because we
yeah,
sound
Ray didn't
similar,
fall for
like
it.
similar. No, right? No, no. Me and my mom. That was it. So I was building like this resentment of like I'm sacrificing so much. I'm so exhausted. I'm so whatever, and him just naming it like I see you're tired. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to alleviate in some other way. I'm trying to alleviate like everything that happened. Immediately made me like less crazy. Like, and that's where I think when you have all these pressures to perform and do all these things and take on this role, sleep deprivation is a big thing, but having somebody name it and recognize that sacrifice can also help you build that tolerance up because sometimes you're just not going to be able to get that sleep. Sometimes you're just not going to be able to have that
Mhm.
tolerance, but having your partner acknowledge it and the sacrifice that you're making can help too. So I don't know, that just stood out in my brain of like, we should talk about that because there's going to be times where you're just not going to be able to sleep during this ordeal. But prioritize that if you can. But having a partner who can at least acknowledge, or he would make sure I get naps in the day, like whatever he could do, he would do. And I think if your partner names it and then tries to compensate for it in some way, it helps a lot without you building resentment.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, like, I know for myself, like, I'll be expecting XYZ from James, right? And so I'll be like, "Oh, well,
Mhm.
he only delivered X and Y." And so then I'm like,
But
"Oh,
he still
well."
delivered X and
And
Y.
I think that's where we have to remind ourselves sometimes to be like, "No, but look, he did this, right?" So, like, even if you're still feeling really tired and your husband can't take that away, right? Like, you're feeling sleep deprived, you're trying to, like, meet work deadlines and meet all these magic things for kids, and you're tired. But, like, if your husband sees it, like, yeah, he can't take it away, but, like or your partner,
Yeah.
like, that's something. And I think that, like, even remembering that it will help a lot too. Mm.
It does help a lot where sometimes they just can't take your place.
Yeah.
But having the acknowledgement of it really helps. I think the biggest thing you can do for all of us to keep your pre-elected mental load and your pre-elected job being CEO of the holidays is communicate. Like if you are building resentment about something, name it because your partner doesn't want you to take resentment on, right? So either
No.
that thing will get eliminated or they will take it or they will figure out how to support you better in it. And that's the goal.
Yeah, and circling back to our previous episode where we had talked about sanity and traditions, like, if you're
Mhm.
feeling a lot of, like, emotional buildup or resentment or things like that, then go back and, like,
Cut
reassess
it
it.
out. Yeah,
Cut it.
that
Yeah, like,
not
you don't
serving you is
have
clearly
to be
hurting you.
Martha May Whovier, right? Like, we don't need that. Like, it's like it doesn't
And
need
I
to all be
but it's
fabulous all
so
the time.
true. Yeah, like
Yeah.
the Who's really lost sight, man. They really
They
lost
really
sight.
did. Martha May was
Yeah.
like, "There's in the next door neighbor, there's still lights from the stoplights." Like, we don't
Yeah.
need that. That's not what our kids
Exactly.
need. Like, if you're
Yes. They
feeling the
need a
burnout,
parent to love them.
yeah, communicate with your partner what your needs are and, like, try to state them freely, like or not freely, try to state them, like, as clearly as you can and,
Yeah.
like, get to that, like, core emotion that you're feeling. Even if it's hard to tell them sometimes, like, it'll go a
Stick to
lot
the
farther.
formula. I feel because I need. Like that
Yeah. Mm.
formula serves you day to day. And the minute that I can get to that is the minute that we make headway. But before that, it's usually pretty immature and stupid on my part.
Yeah. Mhm.
I will fully admit that. Like, it's not all sunshine and roses sometimes.
Yeah.
Remember
Oof.
some of the stuff I've said to my husband.
We'll talk about that another time.
So funny. It's so funny. All right. So just remember that I feel because I need. Next episode, we are going to talk about overstimulated, overtiled, overscheduled, and how you can work on your stress management and sensory overload during a time where it's really hard.
Perfect. Sounds
All
awesome.
right. Be
Bye.
excited.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening.
Bye.